Welcome to this scientific lecture on the hidden abilities of your brain and how to unleash them to achieve your goals. Today we're going to explore neuroscience-backed strategies that can fundamentally change how you approach learning and performance. Let's start with one of the most powerful concepts in neuroscience: neuroplasticity. Your brain is not fixed. It's constantly rewiring itself based on your experiences and behaviors. For decades, scientists believed the adult brain was fixed and unchangeable. But we now know this is completely false. Your brain forms new neural connections throughout your entire life. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to reorganize itself by forming new neural connections. Every time you learn something new, your brain physically changes. You might be asking, how long does it actually take to form new neural pathways? The answer is fascinating. Initial changes in synaptic strength can occur within minutes of learning. However, structural changes and the strengthening of these pathways takes weeks to months of consistent practice. Let's discuss the first hidden ability, the default mode network. This is a network of brain regions that becomes active when you're not focused on the outside world. The default mode network includes several key regions: the medial prefrontal cortex, the posterior cingulate cortex, and parts of the temporal lobes. These regions work together when you daydream or let your mind wander. This network is most active when you're resting, not focused on a specific task. Surprisingly, this is when your brain does some of its most creative work. Research by Marcus Reichel showed that the default mode network uses 20% of the body's energy despite being active during rest. This is when you connect disparate ideas and have those aha moments. So how do you use this knowledge? You need to toggle between focused and diffuse thinking modes. Work intensely on a problem for 25 to 50 minutes using focus mode. Then take a break and let your mind wander in diffuse mode. This back and forth is when magic happens. The second hidden ability is memory consolidation during sleep. Sleep is not passive downtime. It's when your brain actively processes and strengthens what you learned. During sleep, particularly during slow-wave sleep, your brain replays the neural patterns of what you learned during the day. This replay strengthens the synaptic connections. Here's the process. You learn during wakefulness, creating initial weak neural traces. During sleep, these traces are replayed hundreds of times, becoming stronger. When you wake up, the memory is consolidated and more permanent. Studies by Matthew Walker at Berkeley show that sleep can improve learning and memory by 20 to 40% compared to staying awake for the same duration. You might wonder, what about short naps? Do they actually help with learning and memory? The answer is absolutely yes. Naps of 60 to 90 minutes that include slow-wave sleep can significantly enhance memory consolidation. Even shorter naps of 20 minutes can improve alertness and procedural memory. The third hidden ability relates to how you practice. It's called interleaved practice, and it's far more effective than blocked practice. Most people practice using a blocked approach. They do problem type A repeatedly, then move to type B, then type C. This feels efficient, but is actually less effective. Interleaved practice means mixing different types of problems or skills during a single practice session. So instead of AAAA, you do ABC, 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 ABC. Here's a visual comparison. Blocked practice on the left feels easy and smooth. Interleaved practice on the right feels harder and more challenging. But that difficulty is exactly what makes it more effective. Interleaving forces your brain to constantly discriminate between different types of problems. This builds stronger, more flexible neural pathways. Research by Doug Rohrer shows that students who use interleaved practice retain 50% more information and perform better on tests weeks later compared to blocked practice. The fourth hidden ability is the testing effect, also called retrieval practice. Testing yourself is not just assessment, it's one of the most powerful learning tools. When you actively retrieve information from memory, you strengthen the neural pathways far more than simply rereading or reviewing material. Rereading is passive input into your brain. It creates weak encoding. Retrieval practice requires active output from your brain. This effort creates much stronger encoding and lasting memory. In a landmark study by Jeffrey Karpik, students who practiced retrieval remembered 80% of material after 1 week, while students who only studied multiple times remembered just 36%. Practical application. After reading a section, close your book and try to recall the main points without looking. This simple act dramatically improves long-term retention. The fifth hidden ability connects mindset to neural function. Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset shows that believing your abilities can improve actually changes brain function. A fixed mindset believes intelligence and abilities are static traits that cannot change. This mindset limits potential and creates fear of failure. A growth mindset believes abilities can be developed through dedication and hard work. This view creates a love of learning and resilience. Here are the key differences. Fixed mindset leads to avoiding challenges and giving up. Growth mindset embraces challenges and persists. The outcome is dramatically different achievement levels. Neuroscience research using functional MRI scans shows that people with growth mindsets show greater activation in brain regions associated with learning and error correction. An important question: can you actually change from a fixed mindset to a growth mindset? Absolutely yes. The first step is awareness. Notice when you have fixed mindset thoughts like, I'm just not good at this. Then deliberately reframe it. I'm not good at this yet, but I can improve with practice. Now let's talk about how to put all these abilities together using the compound effect. Small improvements compound over time into massive gains. Here's a powerful mathematical truth. If you improve by just 1% each day, you'll be 37 times better after 1 year. The formula is 1.01 to the power of 365. 1.01 to the power of 365 equals 37.8. Conversely, if you decline by 1% each day, you end up at nearly zero. 0.99 to the power of 365 equals 0.03. 0.99 to the power of 365 equals 0.03. Let me give you a practical strategy to implement all these hidden abilities starting today. Step 1. Start your day with a focused learning session. Work on your most challenging material for 25 to 50 minutes without distractions. Step 2. After focused sessions, take a 10 to 15 minute break. Go for a walk or just let your mind wander. This activates diffuse mode thinking. Step 3. When practicing, deliberately mix different types of problems or skills. Don't do all of one type before moving to the next. Step 4. Frequently test yours. After learning something, close your materials and try to recall everything you just learned. Step 5. Prioritize sleep. Aim for 7 to 9 hours per night. This is when memory consolidation happens. Step 6. Adopt growth mindset language. Replace I can't do this with I can't do this yet. Embrace challenges as opportunities to grow. Let me give you a powerful analogy. Think of your brain as a garden. Neural pathways are like paths in a garden. The more you walk a path, the clearer and stronger it becomes. Unused paths get overgrown and disappear. When you practice deliberately and with focus, you're clearing and strengthening the paths you want to use. This makes future performance easier and more automatic. But if you neglect certain skills or knowledge, those neural pathways weaken. The connections literally get pruned away through a process called synaptic pruning. Let's look at a concrete example of using these principles. Imagine you want to learn to play guitar. Traditional approach would be to practice scales for 1 hour straight, then chords for 1 hour straight, then songs for 1 hour straight. Optimized approach using interleaving. Practice scales for 20 minutes, then chords for 20 minutes, then a song for 20 minutes. Then repeat this cycle. Add retrieval practice by trying to play songs from memory without looking at tabs. This is harder but builds much stronger neural pathways. Use diffuse mode by taking short breaks between practice sessions. During these breaks, your brain processes what you learned at a subconscious level. Finally, prioritize sleep. Motor skills and procedural memories consolidate particularly during REM sleep. This is why you often play better the day after practice. A common question: what if you feel like you're not making progress, even when applying these techniques? The answer is that progress is often invisible during the learning process. You're building neural infrastructure beneath the surface. Then suddenly, you have a breakthrough, and everything clicks. This is called the plateau effect, or latent learning. You're learning during the plateau, but it doesn't show up in performance until later. Here's what the learning curve really looks like. You have plateaus where nothing seems to happen, then sudden breakthroughs. Keep practicing through the plateaus. Let me explain the neuroscience of deliberate practice, because not all practice is equal. Deliberate practice means working specifically on your weaknesses, with immediate feedback, at the edge of your current ability. It requires full concentration, and consistently pushes you just beyond your comfort zone. This is what drives myelination. Myelin is a fatty substance that wraps around neural pathways, acting like insulation on a wire. It increases signal speed by up to 100 times. Here's the difference. An unmyelinated neuron on top transmits signals slowly. A myelinated neuron on the bottom, wrapped in myelin, transmits signals much faster. Every hour of deliberate practice builds more myelin around the relevant neural circuits. This is why experts in any field have faster, more efficient neural processing. Let me give you a complete daily protocol that combines all these hidden abilities into one system. 6 to 8 a.m. Your brain is freshest. Do focused learning on your most challenging material. Your prefrontal cortex has maximum capacity. 8 to 10 a.m. Engage in interleaved practice. Mix different problem types and frequently test yourself without looking at answers. 10 to 10:15 a.m. Take a diffuse mode break. Go for a walk, meditate, or just let your mind wander. This is when creative insights emerge. Afternoon. Apply what you learned in the morning. Teaching others is one of the most powerful ways to solidify your own understanding. Evening. Do light review using spaced repetition. Don't cram, just briefly recall what you learned earlier. This primes your brain for consolidation. Night. Get 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. Keep your room cool, dark, and quiet. This is when your brain replays and strengthens everything you learned. Here's the crucial takeaway. Consistency beats intensity every single time. 30 minutes of deliberate practice every day for 6 months will produce far better results than 8 hours once per week. This is because of how memory consolidation works. Your brain needs repeated exposure over time to build strong neural pathways. Cramming creates weak, temporary connections that fade quickly. Let me summarize with the key analogies we've discussed. Your brain is like a garden. The paths you walk regularly become clear and easy to traverse. Unused paths get overgrown. Myelin is like insulation on electrical wires. The more you practice deliberately, the more myelin wraps around those circuits, making them faster. Sleep is like a construction crew that comes in at night. While you rest, it reinforces and strengthens the structures you built during the day. In conclusion, your brain's potential is far greater than you probably realize. These hidden abilities are not special gifts. They're built-in mechanisms that everyone has access to. The key is understanding how these mechanisms work and deliberately activating them through your daily habits and practice routines. Start small. Pick just one of these techniques and implement it today. Maybe it's toggling between focused and diffuse modes, or prioritizing sleep, or using retrieval practice. Remember the compound effect. 1% improvement every day leads to being 37 times better in 1 year. That's the power of consistent, scientifically informed practice. Your brain is plastic, powerful, and ready to grow. The neural infrastructure is already there. You just need to activate it with the right strategies.